Chapter 35. We huddle together as a wave smashes against the base of the cliff. The first rock on the magic road, the long, thin one I cycled along, stretches in front of us. Only it looks even longer now. Every few seconds, water washes over it, hiding it from view. Look! I point at the sky, where a streak of grey is creeping into the blackness. It's starting to get light. We can't wait for the water to go down any further. We have to leave now. I turn to Rose. Ready? She nods. Then let's go. I walk forward and start to step along the rock. I try to go quickly, confidently, but it's so dark I'm not sure if my feet are going to land on solid rock or slip into the sea. It's not so bad, I call over my shoulder. A wave washes over my toes and I freeze. The next bit's easier. Wyn comes behind me, although it's supposed to be Rose. Then the lost girls follow. Rose and Stella are at the end. When Wyn and I reach the safety of the flat rock, we don't stop to help the others across. We can't. We haven't got time. Now we jump, Wyn calls. It's safe to shout here. No one could possibly hear us over the howling wind and growling sea. Either my eyes are adjusting or it's getting lighter, because I find it easy to judge the distance between each rock and I get into a rhythm, running, then jumping, scrambling to my feet and doing it again. Every now and then I pause to catch my breath and I watch the lost girls. They seem used to moving at night and looking out for each other. They jump between the rocks like cats, landing lightly, then springing up again. If someone slips, a hand grabs them. If someone falls back, a voice hisses, "Hurry up!" We move closer to the crow's nest. I try not to look at it too often. Its round windows glow and flicker, and it's so big that down on the magic road I feel very small. Perhaps it's the crow's nest that makes us fall quiet, but by the time we reach the tunnel, no one is talking. Wyn runs in first and we follow. The tunnel is dark and narrow, but I relax a bit. No one can fall in the sea here, and it feels safe to be hidden from the crow's nest. But it is dark. When Wyn and I were here before, light came pouring in from each end of the tunnel, but now I have to feel my way after Wyn. Suddenly I bump into his back. "Arthur, we've got a problem." "What is it?" "I'm standing in water." I reach down and feel with my hands. He's right. His feet are surrounded by icy water. "It's because we were quicker," I say. "The sea level hasn't dropped enough to empty the tunnel." "What's going on?" Stella comes pushing past the girls who have bunched up behind me. I explain what's happened, then for a moment we just stand there in the darkness, listening to our breathing and the breaking waves. "We can't wait," I say. "You saw the sky. It's nearly dawn." Even now I can see grey light creeping into the mouth of the tunnel behind us. If we stay here much longer, then we might come out in daylight. And what if the tide starts to turn before you get to the crow's nest? "And we can't go over this rock," Stella says. "It's too steep." "So what do we do?" Rose's voice comes from the very end of the tunnel. "We swim," says Stella, and before I can say anything, she slipped past me and plunged into the water. 1, 2, 3 seconds pass. Drips fall from the roof of the tunnel. "I don't like it in here." Suddenly, says a small voice near my elbow. Suddenly, there's an explosion of water and a black shape appears. "It's fine," says Stella. "You're only under the water for a moment, then you come out the other side. It's cold, though. Get ready for that. Follow me, girls." And with a splash, she's gone. For a second, there's silence. Then the lost girls scurry to follow their chief. One by one, they push past me, throw themselves into the water and disappear. I'm not sure if it's Stella's words or the fear of being left behind that makes them move so fast. Or maybe they're even tougher than I thought they were. One of them, Clara I think, even shouts, "Hear me roar!" before plunging in. None of them hesitate. None of them come back. and soon it's just me, Win, and Rose left in the tunnel. Okay, says Win. So, you reckon I just stick my head under the water and swim? I think so. See you on the other side, he says, and he ducks down and the inky water swallows him up. With one kick of his trainers, he's gone. Do you want to go next? I ask Rose. I see her shake her head. What, so you'll follow me? No. Her voice is quiet. I can't do it. I hadn't expected this, but then I realised just how dark the tunnel is. Rose hates the dark. Swimming through a pitch-black tunnel is hard for me, but it must be terrifying for her. I decide to try the technique Win used on me. Of course you can do it, Rose. You're a master of roar. Plus, you're not scared of anything. She laughs bitterly. I'm scared of loads of things. Like what? Well, the dark, for starters, she says. My friends laughing at me because I've still got a massive collection of dragons. Actually, being laughed at full stop. My friends not wanting to hang out with me anymore. That's 4 things off the top of my head, Arthur. I think back to the names Rose wrote down when our classes were mixed up. Maybe she didn't write me down because she was scared about what would happen if she wasn't with her friends. I'm no hero, and I'm no master of roar, Rose says, sinking to the floor of the tunnel. Now she's just a ball in the darkness. In fact, I'm no better than Croaky, because I've been pulling this place apart. I sit next to her. Hard rock presses into my back and Rose's shoulder trembles next to mine. Listen, Rose, I don't care that you gave away our dragons, even though they were very cool, or the fact that I embarrass you all the time and you frequently call me a loser. I call you a doofus too. And sometimes a Dorcosaurus. My point is, I get why you do all those things because I'm scared of loads of stuff too. What I care about is that you're my twin. My only twin. And not only can you speak 3 made-up languages, Mermish, Moonlight Stallion and Dragon, you made this world with me. You are my sister. And you are a master of roar. And nothing can ever, ever change that. And then I do something incredibly brave. In fact, it's probably the bravest thing I've done in my life. I put my arm round Rose's shoulder and I give it a squeeze. For a few seconds, we just sit like that, squashed in the cold, dark tunnel. Hey, I say, breaking the silence, aren't you going to call me a loser? Because that was probably the most loserish thing I've ever done in my life. You weren't being a loser, Rose says, resting her head on my shoulder. You were being kind. Rose and I sit like this for about 2 minutes. I don't think either of us enjoy it exactly, but it feels grown up. And grown up is what we need to feel right now. Then I pull Rose to her feet. Now swim through that tunnel, Rose Trout, master of roar. And she does. She takes a deep breath, and she's gone with barely a splash. I take one last glance behind me and then follow her into the icy water.